The lease is $1,847 a month. You are 26. The space is 340 square feet on the wrong side of a street nobody walks down after 7. And the landlord, a man named Brett who keeps a calculator on his desk like a paperweight, asks for first, last, and a security deposit in cash. You pay it from a checking account showing $11,402. You sign on a Tuesday. The pen is a Bic. Your hand does not shake, but it should. This is not the start of a career. This is the start of a position. You have been working for 3 years. Your salary was $62,400. Your bonus the previous year was $4,800. Your manager, a woman named Lorraine with reading glasses she never actually used, told you she could see you running the department in 5 years. You said thank you. You meant it. Then you went home and did the math on running her department in 5 years. And the math said $112,000. And the math said your rent would also be higher. And the math said the trade was not a trade. It was a holding pattern with a nicer chair. You quit on a Thursday. Lorraine cried. You did not. A career compounds your time. A business compounds your decisions. Time is finite. Decisions are not. The 340 square feet has one window and a radiator that ticks. You buy a desk on Facebook Marketplace for $80 from a man named Carlos who helps you carry it up 3 flights and refuses a tip. You buy a chair for $140. You buy nothing else. The first client pays $2,400 for work that takes you 11 days. You eat rice, you eat eggs. You drink coffee from a machine that costs $19 and tastes like it. Your old coworkers post photos from a rooftop bar. You see the photos at 11:43 on a Tuesday. You close the app. You open the spreadsheet. You stop measuring months in paychecks. You start measuring months in clients. By the end of the first year, the business has revenue of $94,000 and profit of $31,000. You pay yourself $28,000. You sleep on a mattress on the floor because the bed frame can wait and the second hire cannot. The second hire is a contractor named Devin who lives in another state and bills $45 an hour. Devin is faster than you. Devin is better than you at the part of the work you hate. The first time you wire him $3,600 for a project, you sit in the chair for a long time afterward, looking at the bank balance, understanding something you did not understand the day before. You did not buy his time. You bought a copy of yourself. A salary pays you for being present. A business pays you for being absent. The day the work continues without you is the day the work begins. Revenue is $287,000. You move into a real apartment. Not a nice one, a real one. The rent is $2,150. You buy a bed frame for $340 from a store with a name you cannot pronounce. You hire a part-time assistant named Priya, who handles invoicing and answers emails in a tone slightly warmer than yours. You stop answering emails yourself. The first week of this feels like betrayal. The second week feels like oxygen. By the third week, you cannot remember why you ever did it. Your father calls. He is proud, in the careful way men of his generation are proud. He asks what you make. You say, enough. He asks what enough means. You say, enough means you don't have to say. There is a long pause on the line. He says, your mother and I were never able to say that. You do not know what to do with this sentence, so you put it in a drawer in your head and close the drawer. You stop counting income. You start counting margins. The classmates from your old life are getting promoted. A man named Marcus, who sat 2 desks from you, becomes a director. His salary is $138,000. His title is Director of Strategic Partnerships. He posts about it on a Wednesday. The post does well. He is happy. You are happy for him. But you do the math because you always do the math. And Marcus's $138,000 is taxed as income, and arrives in 26 pieces and disappears into a life that costs $11,200 a month to operate. He does not own his time. He rents it back from the company that pays him. The company can stop paying him on a Friday, and his life ends on a Sunday. You write this in a notebook. You do not show anyone. Income is what arrives. Wealth is what stays when nothing arrives. A career protects the first. A business protects the second. Revenue is $612,000. You have 4 contractors and 1 full-time employee. The employee is named Ren, and Ren handles operations. And Ren is 24 and smarter than you were at 24 and slightly bored by the size of the company, which is the correct posture. You pay Ren $74,000. You pay yourself $96,000 and leave $187,000 in retained earnings. You do not buy a car. You do not buy a watch. You buy a desk that costs $1,800 because you sit at it for 10 hours a day. Friends ask what you were doing with the money. The honest answer is that you were not doing anything with it. The money is not the point. The money is the scoreboard. The point is the machine. You are building a small machine that converts your decisions into capital while you sleep. And the machine is, for the first time, beginning to hum at a frequency you can feel in the floor. You stop going to the bar with the rooftop. The people there talk about their bosses. You no longer have a vocabulary for that conversation. You stop being lonely about it. You start being quiet about it. Something breaks. The employee, Ren, gives notice on a Monday. 2 contractors leave the same month. A client worth $84,000 a year goes silent and never explains why. Revenue drops 22%. You wake up at 4:11 a.m. on a Thursday and cannot get back to sleep. You sit in the kitchen in the dark with a glass of water, and you understand, for the first time, the difference between a job and a business. A job pays you to absorb other people's anxiety. A business pays you to generate your own. You hire a replacement for Ren. She is not as good. She becomes better. The contractors are replaced. The client is not replaced. You learn that a client lost is not a wound, but a tuition payment. And the tuition was $84,000. And the lesson was that you had built the company to depend on her. And that was your mistake, not hers. You rebuild, quietly, without telling anyone the year was bad. Your old coworkers, the ones still on salaries, are, in the same period, getting 4% raises and feeling secure. You are not secure. You will never be secure again. And somewhere in the bad year, you stop wanting to be. Security is a feeling employees buy with their freedom. Owners do not buy it. They cannot afford it. Revenue is $1.4 million. Profit is $487,000. You have 9 people. You no longer do the work. You do the work of arranging the work. You sit in meetings about meetings. You sign contracts you have not read because someone you trust has read them. The trust took years to build and could be destroyed in an afternoon. And you know this, and you sign anyway, because the alternative is to read everything yourself. And reading everything yourself is the trap that killed every founder you have ever quietly studied. You take a vacation, the first real one, 11 days in a small town by the sea. The business runs without you. You check the dashboard once, on the 4th morning, from a cafe where the espresso costs €2.40. The numbers are fine. You close the laptop. You do not open it again for 7 days. When you return, nothing has burned down. Something in you that had been clenched for 6 years lets go a quarter of an inch. You stop being the company. You start owning the company. The first version of a business is a job you cannot quit. The second version is a job you can leave. The third version is an asset you can sell. Most people stop building at the first. A man named Whitmore, in a suit that fits the way only an expensive suit fits, sits across from you at a table in a glass conference room and offers you $4.7 million for 60% of the company. He has silver at the temples. He drinks his coffee black. He says, "We like the margins. We like the team. We like that you are no longer essential." He says it as a compliment. You understand it as a compliment. You also understand, sitting in that chair, that the moment you became non-essential to the machine was the moment the machine became valuable to anyone else. You do not take the deal. You take a smaller deal 6 months later with a different buyer for less money and better terms. You keep 70%. You stay on for 2 years. The wire arrives on a Friday in October. The number on the screen is $2,184,000 after fees, after taxes withheld, after the lawyer named Ellis takes her cut. You sit in the chair. You look at the number. You do not feel what you thought you would feel. You feel a quiet that is almost disappointment. And then you understand that the quiet is the thing you were buying the whole time, and the money was just the receipt. The payoff of a business is not the exit. The exit is the proof. The payoff was the years you spent unafraid of being fired because no one could fire you. You are 38. You have a child now, a daughter. She is 2. You can pick her up from daycare on a Wednesday at 3:14 in the afternoon because no one schedules your Wednesday at 3:14 in the afternoon. This is, in the end, the only metric that mattered, and it does not appear on any spreadsheet, and you would not have understood it at 26, and you do not try to explain it to the version of you that signed the lease on the 340 square feet, because that version would not have listened. A career buys you a life on weekends. A business, if it works, and most do not, buys you a life on Wednesdays. Across the city, on the wrong side of a street no one walks down after 7, a young woman is signing a lease for $2,090 a month on 310 square feet. The landlord is Brett's son now. The pen is a Bic. Her hand does not shake, but it should. Her checking account shows $9,847. She does not know what she is starting. She knows only that the math at her job did not math, and she's done a different math, and the different math required this room. It always starts there. It always will.